After watching this video, you are going to throw your mouse. Now here's the thing. Last week, I spent almost 5 hours to test more than 100 keyboard shortcuts. But honestly, not all of them were that useful. And that's why I have listed only 21 keyboard shortcuts that can increase your productivity. But that is not the best part. The best part is, at the end of this video, we're going to learn about how to build a custom keyboard shortcut. So let's start the video. Now, how would you do that? You're entering a function here and you select a range which is quite long. And now you want to go back to the active cell. The only option that you have here is to use the scroll bar and go all the way to the active cell. But that is not the most efficient way. So once you enter your formula, you select a range that is quite long. To go back, you need to use this keyboard shortcut that is Control, Shift, and equals, and it will take you back to the active cell. When you want to add subtotals and grand totals, how would you do that? You go to a cell, enter the sum function, select the range, close the function, and hit enter. Well, that's not the right way. What you need to do, select each cell where you want to add the subtotals and also the grand total. And then you need to press and hold the Alt key and then press the equals key, and it will instantly add all the subtotals and grand totals within a second. When you want to open a workbook, what you normally do, you go to File tab, you click on the file that you want to open, or you search here to find that file. But that's not the most efficient way. What you need to do is you need to press the keyboard shortcut Alt and Q, and it will take you to the search bar. And here you can search for the file that you want to open and select this file from here, and it will open that file. So you don't need to go to the File tab and search the file from here. When you need to insert a chart, how would you do that? You select the data, you go to Insert tab, you click on the chart that you want to insert, and you get the chart. But that's not the fastest way. What you need to do is you just select the data and then press the keyboard shortcut Alt F1, and it will give you the chart, the line chart for you. But that's not only the best part here. The best part is, let's say if you want to insert a column chart using the keyboard shortcut, what you need to do is select your data, click on Insert, go to Recommended Charts, and then go to All Charts, go to Columns, right click and say Set as Default Chart. And then click on Cancel, come back. Now select your data, press Alt and F1. It will give you a column chart every time you use this keyboard shortcut Alt F1. Select this entire data from here, and when I use this keyboard shortcut Control A, I cannot do that because I have this blank column here and this blank row. Now to deal with this problem, either I used Control A twice, but the problem is it will select the entire worksheet. Now the best solution to this problem is to use the keyboard shortcut Control, Shift, and End, and it will select the entire data here. Now let me show you the most amazing keyboard shortcut that I use almost every day while using Excel and specifically working with big data. So what happens is when you apply filter to a data, when you use this keyboard shortcut Alt D F, or you use this keyboard shortcut Control Shift and L, you apply the filter. Now after that, open that filter. Instead of using your mouse, you can use this keyboard shortcut Alt and down arrow. But that's not the best part. Now, the idea is to filter something, and I need to go and scroll down. If I have value which is down, and I have to scroll down all the way to that value. Let's say if I want to filter Ohio, I need to scroll down and filter or uncheck that value or check that value to filter out. But instead of doing this, what I'll do, once I open the filter, I'll press the key that is E, and it will take me to the search bar in the filter. And without selecting or deselecting anything, I'll click OK, and it will filter Ohio for me. All right, so now let me show you one more amazing filter keyboard shortcut. Let's say if I want to filter data based on current sales value, I have this salesperson's name here, Kangwoo, and I want to filter data based on this salesperson. So I'll right click, go to filter and use filter by selected sales value, and it will filter the data based on that particular salesperson. But that's not the fastest way to do that. What I'll do, I'll go to this small drop down here that is my quick access toolbar, and then I'm going to say more commands, and from here I'm going to go to commands not in the ribbon, and I'm going to search for auto filter. I'll click on it, click on add, and now this option is on the second. Now this option is the second option on my quick access toolbar. So I'll click OK, And now let's say if I want to filter my data again, I'll select that cell and then I'm going to press Alt. And it says 2 here because that's the second option that I have on my quick access toolbar. So I'm going to say Alt and 2 and it will filter the data for me using the current cell's value. So the keyboard shortcut is Alt 2, but Alt 2 is not actually the exact keyboard shortcut. It depends on the position of that auto filter option on your quick access toolbar. So if you add it on the third number, then the keyboard shortcut will be Alt 3. Now, if you want to create a named range, how would you do that? You select your data, you go to your formulas tab, click on define name, name manager, new, and then you create your named range. But that's not the fastest way. Once you select your data, you need to press this keyboard shortcut Alt F3 and it allows you to edit the name box. Now you enter the name, sales, data and hit enter and now your named range is ready. So if I go to name manager, you can see I have this new named range for the name sales data. So Alt plus F3. Now instead of using your mouse to move between worksheets in your workbook, you can use this keyboard shortcut Control and page up for backward and page down for going forward. So you can use this keyboard shortcut to move between the worksheets that you have in your workbook. Now let's say you want to select some non-continuous ranges or some cells. How would you do that? You press and hold the control key and then one by one you select the range here just like this. But there is a better way. So once you press this keyboard shortcut Shift plus F8, you can see you get this small message here that says add or remove selections. Now you don't need to hold the control key. You can just use your mouse and select the range that you want to select and it will be added to your selection. And if you want to unselect something, you just need to select it again and it will be unselected. But you don't need to press and hold the control key. If you build a lot of reports and use pivot tables in your reports, it's better to create a pivot table by using a keyboard shortcut. So instead of going to insert and click on pivot table option, you can use the keyboard shortcut Alt N V T and it will instantly gives you this insert pivot table dialog box. Let's say you have a formula like this, which is a little lengthy and you want to edit or analyze this formula. Instead of editing that cell, you can do one thing. You can just select the cell, press the keyboard shortcut Control Shift U and it will expand your formula bar. Now you can analyze your formula from here and once you finish, you can press the keyboard shortcut Control Shift U again and it will collapse your formula bar back to the normal. If you use Power Query a lot, this keyboard shortcut is going to save you a lot of efforts. So what happens is if you want to open the Power Query editor, you need to use this keyboard shortcut Alt plus F12 and it will instantly open the Power Query editor for you. And if you have a table which is already from the Power Query, like I have this table which is already loaded from the Power Query. And when I press the keyboard shortcut Alt plus F12, it opens that table into the Power Query. But if I just want to open the Power Query editor without loading any table, I just need to go to a simple blank cell and then press the keyboard shortcut Alt plus F12 and then it will open the Power Query editor without selecting any table. And then if I have a table in the Power Query, I can select that table and open that table in the Power Query editor. So in any situation, if you want to open the Power Query editor, you can use the keyboard shortcut Alt plus F12. Now, this is not only for Excel, but any kind of file that you want to rename, you just need to go to your File Explorer, select that file and press the keyboard shortcut F2. And it allows you to edit the name of that file. So here I can change the file to and hit enter and it will rename that file for me. The best way to handle your data in Excel is to convert it into an Excel table. And for this, instead of going to insert and click on the table icon, you can use this keyboard shortcut Control T and click OK and it will convert your data into an Excel table. If you want to insert a new worksheet, instead of using this plus button, you can use a simple keyboard shortcut that is Shift and F11 and it will insert a new sheet. But that's not the best part. If you want to insert multiple sheets, let's say you want to insert 5 sheets, you just need to select 5 sheets from your workbook, current 5 sheets, and then press the keyboard shortcut Control Shift and F11 and it will insert new 5 worksheets in your workbook. This keyboard shortcut is completely simple but so powerful that you should be using it every single day. So what happens is when you select a range and you want to apply some sort of formatting to this particular range of cells, you need to press this keyboard shortcut Control 1 and it gives you this format cells dialog box and you can select any kind of formatting that you want to apply. You want to change the alignment, font, border, fill, or even the number formatting. But the best part is When you select a chart and then you press this keyboard shortcut control 1, it opens the chart formatting for you. So you can change the formatting of the chart. And if you select any component of the chart, let's say if I select these columns here and then press control 1, it opens the formatting for these columns particularly. So that is so versatile keyboard shortcut. You can use it in different ways. Control plus 1. Here I have this table from a formula, and if I want to convert this table into hard values, instead of just copying it and then select the range and go to page special, open page special from here and then click on values and click OK. Instead of doing this, I just need to use a simple keyboard shortcut. That is the universal keyboard shortcut. Control, Shift and V, and it will paste the copied values as hard values. And that's one of my favorite or even most used keyboard shortcut in Excel. What happens is when I have different objects in my worksheets, let's say charts, shapes, text boxes, it's really hard to select them in one go. So the best way is to open this selection pane in your Excel window and use the keyboard shortcut Alt plus F10. And here I have the selection pane, and now I can select any of these shapes. If I want to just select them and group them, I can just use the keyboard shortcut control and then select every shape or every text box one by one, and then right click and go to group and say group. So it's the easiest way to select all these objects from your worksheet. Now here, if I enter the simple formula to have a product of quantity and price, here is the quantity and here is the price I have here. And when I drag this formula down using the keyboard shortcut control D, my formula isn't working because the reference to the price cell is also going down along with the formula. Now to solve this problem, I can convert this cell reference into absolute cell reference. And for this, I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut, which is a single key, and that is F4. When I press F4, it converts this cell reference into the absolute cell reference. And now when I drag my formula down, it is working because my cell, the cell where I have the price, is freezed. Now, beauty of this key F4 is I can not only change the cell reference, I can actually toggle between different cell references. And if I press it again, I need to select the cell from the formula, and then when I press again, it converts it into a semi-absolute reference. So I have my row freezed, but when I press it again, now I have my column freezed, and now I press it again, I move back to the relative reference. And if I press it again, now I have a complete absolute cell reference. So that's how you can use F4 to toggle between the different cell references in a formula. When you insert a new worksheet and then you want to rename that worksheet, what you normally do? You right click on that and then you go to the rename option to rename it. Well, that's not the right way. You need to press this keyboard shortcut Alt HOR and it will edit the name of the worksheet, and then you can change the name and hit enter and your worksheet is now renamed. Now let's build our custom keyboard shortcut. Let's take an example that I want to insert 12 new worksheets in my workbook with the name January to December. So I want to have these 12 new worksheets just with a single keyboard shortcut. So for this, the first thing that you need is to install this application called AutoHotkey. So once you install it, you'll get this application that looks something like this. And along with this, we need to go to the ChatGPT to write a script for this. So first of all, I'll go to my application and click on new script. And I'm gonna name it add 12 worksheets. And I'm gonna select the location where I want to save this script. We'll go to desktop, save, and I'm gonna say empty and create. And now I'll go back to my desktop and I'm gonna right click and open this script with the notepad. This is a blank notepad. I don't have anything here, but now I need to write this script. After that, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and paste my prompt here that says write an AutoHotkey script to add 12 worksheets in current Excel workbook using month names. So I'll hit enter and I'll get the script from the ChatGPT. And now I'm going to copy it from here and go to my notepad. I'm going to paste it here. So that's the file, that's a script file that I have. And here in this script, you can see I have this keyboard shortcut here that says Control plus Alt plus M. So that's the keyboard shortcut I'm going to use to insert these worksheets. So I'm going to save it and close it from here, and then I'm going to go to my desktop again and right click and say run script. Now my keyboard shortcut is ready, and if I open a new workbook or any workbook, I just need to press this keyboard shortcut Control Alt and M, and it will insert 12 new worksheets with the name of the months. And I will also get this message that says done, added month sheets to book 2. So that's how you quickly create custom keyboard shortcuts for your Excel or even any application that you have in your Windows. In Excel, there are more than 250 keyboard shortcuts, and I have only tried 100 out of them. Now, in the coming weeks, I'm going to try more and come up with a new list of keyboard shortcuts to share with you. So make sure to subscribe and check out this video from here, and I'll see you next week.